Hi, you guys, and welcome back to Jules Gems. Today's episode is going to be discussing the T.S. Madison Experience, the reality show that just premiered on WeTV. I want to say this past Thursday. So, this is going to be my thoughts and opinions on the show and not a scene by scene recap because, baby, these YouTubers really be doing it and I appreciate them for it. I'm just not your girl for that level of detail. The LGBTQ plus community has a safe spot in my heart for them. Specifically, okay, so I'm supportive of all LGBTQ plus community, but I specifically advocate for the Black LGBTQ plus because not to get too deep, it's just near and dear to me for personal reasons. I am a heterosexual woman, and oftentimes people confuse my advocacy as a person who is heterosexual, that I am within the community and I'm not. But just know that my affinity for them is on a deeper level that I cannot go into out of respect for someone that I care deeply about. So, as you can see, I'm getting emotional as I talk about it because it's that it is that deep for me. So, T.S. Madison, for those who don't know, TS stands for transsexual. I don't believe that transsexual is a term that is used anymore. The term that is actually used is transgendered. She is a transgender woman from, I want to say, well, we'll just say Florida. I don't know if she's from Miami. I know she is, I think, from Dade County because I hear her say that all the time. But for her to be given an opportunity as a trans woman, and then also at the fact that she is a Black trans woman, this moment is monumental. It is groundbreaking, and I'm so excited. Like, I get goosebumps because oftentimes society has created this false narrative that trans people are these caricatures. They paint them to be monsters, if you will. And I'm so excited because it actually allows people the opportunity to see trans women, specifically Black trans women in the Black community, as human. They are no more different than myself or you. And so you just have no idea how deep my excitement goes for her and for the entire trans community. Because it's so much more than this show. And I my prayer for her and her team is that they get picked up season after season after season after season. But I'm also deeply excited because I literally follow every single last one of the characters that's on this show. I shouldn't say characters, personalities on this show on different platforms. So, like, the first person that's introduced is Oliver Twixt. I first met Oliver. I was first introduced to Oliver on Chasing Atlanta. It is a YouTube web series. I love him. I'll also go into detail as to why after I give the personalities. So Oliver Twixt, he is her media extraordinaire person, the content creator for Madison. He's not only a content creator, but he is a rapper who is extremely talented. So you should totally check him out. That's also one of the good things that I enjoy, is that about social media, it has its pros and cons, but we are now more exposed to different walks of life and not pigeonholing certain communities in this box that society has or assumes that they are. Oliver Twix falls completely out of that box. Then you have Chi Chi, or as for those who watch Madison's YouTube series, Litanya. Baby, I love Chi Chi. So Chi Chi first met Madison when he was 16, and she took him in, and he's been under her loving care ever since then. I don't know how old Chi Chi is. I know he's over the age of 21. And Chi Chi is her assistant slash child, like her baby. And so the interaction with seeing this trans woman who society again has deemed as a monster, to show love and affection to people, again humanizing trans women, is the breath of fresh air that we all need. And prayerfully, this will continue to open more doors and more opportunities for those trans women. Specifically like Ariel O'Hara. I love her. She's on Chasing Dallas. But anyways, I digress. Got my earring. So I wore these earrings because I feel like T.S. Madison would wear these earrings, but these things is heavy. They ain't no joke, y'all. I like them. I see them. So like Ariel O'Hara, she is a trans woman who is actually on the Chasing Dallas series, and T.S. Lil Kendra, who's on Chasing Atlanta. Like, I'm such a fan of these women. And T.S. is literally creating opportunities for women like T.S. Lil Kendra and Ariel O'Hara, and so many more others, the ones we know and the ones we don't know, to further humanize them. The next character is Craig the Writer Stewart. Okay, yes, that is the name. Craig the Writer Stewart is TS's producer, I want to say. Don't quote me on that, but he is the one who actually, a program director or something like that. He's the one who actually creates the outline of how the show is going to go. Craig is also a author. He has his own YouTube series as well with Derek J. Where they discuss different types of topics specifically geared to the Black LGBTQ community. If you ever hear me say, hey girl, hey, I got it from him. So I just wanted to say that. And then there is Miss Mary. So when I first found T.S. Madison and I was listening to her call Miss Mary, I've only known one family who called their mama by their name. So it's obviously not common. So when T.S. started calling Miss Mary, I'm like, is this her mama? Like, or is this like her bonus mom or adopted mom, or like, who is Miss Mary to T.S.? But in fact, Miss Mary is her biological mama. And one of the things I also love about this show so far is that Miss Mary is a Christian woman who has a trans daughter. And it shows in the first episode just a little bit about the nuances, if you will, of someone who is dedicated and engulfed in religion, but then is torn. I don't think she's no longer torn, but she is trying to find a balance between her religious belief versus her love for her daughter. Because it shows not only the humanization of trans women, not to also forget trans men exist, but for some reason, I'm not going to say that trans men does not experience or they don't share the same struggle. But within the past year alone, there has been more Black trans women whose lives have been taken at the hands of Black cis men. Not because of this whole telltale, well, they didn't tell them who they were. We're not going to insult anyone's intelligence when it comes to that, because we're in 2021. And that excuse is no longer acceptable. Nobody's hiding who they are to anyone. So there's that. But it also is going to follow this mother of a transgender woman, and who also is extremely, and I say extremely loosely because I don't know Miss Mary, but extremely religious. Then you have Miss Sophia. I can't tell y'all how many times I have rewatched the Queen Supreme Court with T.S. Madison and Sophia. Y'all, if you have not watched any of those episodes, please do yourself a favor and go and watch these episodes. She is gonna have you in tears from crying, laughing, like, and it's effortless. She's so on top of, like, she's so quick with it. Again, society has framed this caricature of what Black gay men are, and you're also going to see the different types of gay people, which is more than just these three personalities you're going to see. The gay community, the LGBTQ plus community as a whole, is not monolithic. The same way Black people are not monolithic. They come in all shapes, sizes, personalities, quirks, they're on every spectrum. So I am hopeful and prayerful that people look at this show, especially if they're not, they don't have any day-to-day interactions with anyone in the LGBTQ plus community, so that they can become more comfortable and acclimate themselves with what it's like to be in the presence, quote unquote, of someone in that community. Because a lot of times the apprehension of what people have as it relates to this community is that they don't know anyone in that community. They fear what they don't know. And for me, because I'm not going to sit here and lie and say that I've always been this pro LGBTQ plus. No, I've not been a hateful person, but I can't lie and say that when it came to women, gay women, lesbians, that I didn't have this ego about me, that anytime I was in the presence of a lesbian woman, that her ass wanted me. Ain't that some crazy fucked up way of thinking? Like, who do I think I am to assume that anytime I'm in the presence of a lesbian that the bitch want me? No, that's not necessarily true. Just like it's not necessarily true that I'm in the presence of a man that they want me either. So I had to really reprogram my way of thinking because of the way society has conditioned us to believe as it relates to not just the LGBTQ plus community, but in a lot of things. So I follow this YouTube channel called For Harriet. And I know this is going to seem, it's supposed to be like a T.S. Madison thing, but it speaks to the specifically trans community and cis women. And so one of the points, she made 3 points. And I want to read them because what she said resonated so deeply within me because this is really what it's all about, in my opinion. So, the first point is trans women are women. If your existence as a Black woman relies on denying Black trans women access to womanhood, then your womanhood is fragile as fuck, and that is primarily because of white supremacy. Focus on the real problem. Remember when I said in another video, I use this acronym RCA, which RCA means root cause analysis. It's easy to say on the surface what a problem is, but that really is not going to solve the problem by identifying the surface. What's going to resolve the issue is actually digging deeper and peeling back the layers, if you will, to identify the root. And once you uproot the root, then we can start healing. So the second one is both femininity and masculinity are performances that anyone can take on. It's play. Sometimes that play is fun, but that play has also caused enormous harm to the people who cannot or refuse to participate in the spectacle. Three is extremely important to me. As Black people, the effectiveness of our gendered performances is impeded by how we have to navigate imperialist, white, supremacist, capitalist patriarchy. The society we live in and move through relies on our inability to fully embody gender ideas. Wearing dresses and heels isn't going to change that. Losing weight isn't going to change that. Switching your hairstyle won't change that. Wearing lingerie won't change that. No cosmetic procedure will change that. So have fun, because I am. I was talking to a classmate of mine a few days ago because I took my son to go get a facial. I think it's extremely important that in order to change the narrative and reprogram, reframe and reprogram our thought process as to what the norm is. I made an appointment for my son to get a facial. The reason why I made an appointment for him to get a facial is because he was breaking out. He doesn't clean his face like he's supposed to every day after he brushes his teeth. And then also with the wearing of the face mask, he's accumulated certain blackheads on top of his nose and under his chin. So I wanted him to do two things. I wanted him to know what it's like to get a facial and also make open his pores, get his face clean, so he no longer has these breakouts, right? For so long, we have been conditioned to believe that men can't do certain things because it's deemed feminine. And what those deems are is actually social constructs. There is absolutely nothing wrong with a man painting his nails, with a man wanting to wear whatever he wants to wear to make him comfortable, getting basic shit done like a manicure, pedicure, or a facial without someone turning their fucking nose up in the air and automatically associate that because this person does that, then they are this sexual orientation. No. You like what you like, and that's okay. It's also okay for other people to like what they like and not be put into a box because that's what you've been taught. My son loves rainbows. And if I'm being almost got emotional. My son loves rainbows. My son, I've allowed him to have as much freedom, if you will, when it comes to certain things. Does it make me does it tug at me sometimes? Yes. And not because I don't want him to do it. Okay. Okay. It tugs at me because I know how fucked up this world is. And I don't know if I have the emotional bandwidth to fight the battles that may come with if they see my son who wants to wear nail polish on his fingers and toes because he simply thinks it's cool. My son wanting to wear a rainbow shirt because he loves the colors for no other reason, because he doesn't know that rainbow is associated with the LGBTQ plus community. And I have these conversations with my son just to see where his head is at. And as much as mommy wants to try to protect you from this world, there's certain things that I can't. But things that I can, I'm going to try my damnedest too. I know this video is really everywhere as it relates to this topic because it's so much that I feel as it relates to this community. Because again, as I said earlier at the beginning, this is deeper for me, and and when I say deeper, is not associated with my son. What I will say though is that I have made it extremely known. I am very clear when it comes to anybody, and not just my son, but it could be my niece, it could be my nephew. If their sexual orientation happens to be of the same sex, I will be their hugest advocate, and I would wish like hell someone would try them. I don't play when it comes to them. I don't play when it comes to the LGBTQ plus community. I may not be a platinum, top tier advocate, because there's still so much that I have to learn about the community and just how I can show up for them in the ways that I can. But I will say, don't play with me when it comes to them, because I don't care who you are. Don't do it. You won't win. You won't win. Shout out to T.S. Madison. Shout out to Oliver Twix. Shout out to Chi Chi, aka Lee Tanya. Shout out to Craig the Writer Stewart. Shout out to Miss Sophia. I don't know y'all, but I love y'all. So bye, you guys.